It's Monday. That's right. December 10th, 2019. How are y'all doing? I know some of y'all right now looking at the calendar, you're probably saying, hurry up already, because you're ready to wrap up this year. But I got some good news for y'all because this, for some, is nothing but validation. And for others, this is a culmination of a season. Yes. See what's going on, family. Your life is telling you you got to keep on moving. hmm Now, the beautiful thing of life is we're able to have memories and etch little footnotes and little caveats in our journey that we like to compartmentalize at times because we focus on the now. And when we have time to breathe, we reflect. And when we reflect, the possibility of optimism is right there. But I also know that we all have seasons. And those seasons, just like the external seasons in nature, has a price, has a reasoning, and it's requiring you to take note. To some, this may have been a year where there may have been setbacks, there have been challenges, they have been disappointments. Those are the linchpins of your progression. And I'm here to tell you this: no matter what has occurred this year, no matter what it is the setup of what's to come. It's your preparation. It's your preparation. It's when you have those stagnant periods of time and you don't want, you say, I'm bored. Why am I seeing this repetitive process? Because spiritually, the Most High is subtly trying to connect to you and saying, this is about free will, but most importantly, do you get it? Do you understand what I'm showing you, what I'm affording you? And when you do, freely accept that knowledge that has been given. A lot of times it's right in front of you, hidden in plain sight. That becomes your insight. That becomes your wisdom. That becomes your truth. That becomes your testimony. And that defines you and your character. How is everybody doing this morning? I know you guys had a blessed Thanksgiving. Some of y'all finally stepped outside your circle and you decided to make some phone calls, to reach out, to reconnect to those that really matter most, that maybe for whatever reason there was a distraction going on, but you breathe better now because there was some truth out of that. There was some closure there. There was some clarity there. Why? Because the person you are going to be needs that. And yes, not to sound cynical, some of y'all finally heard your voice for the very first time. No, I'm not talking about from the perspective of allowing your emotions to dictate your logic and being in a place of impulse. I'm talking about being able to tap into your inner strength, to finally be able to be still. That's what I'm talking about. Because that also came with a price too. Some of y'all have realized that phone calls have stopped. The appearances or the pop-ups have dissipated. And after you went through that phase of trying to figure out if it's you or if there was something that you did not do, you were okay with it. That's part of your journey. It's part of your story. It is what makes the tapestry of your legacy. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. So cheers to you. Look, you know I got my beans. You know I got my coffee. Gotta have it. But I gotta have my water just as much because it's about balance. And I really believe that next year that is going to be something that you are going to demand. Not out of ignorance, not out of fear, but out of necessity. Now I'm not gonna steal my own thunder because that 2020 video is coming. I will put that out. Uh, Most likely, like I've done it for the last 6 years, I will put it out. Most likely, I'll probably go on. I will be live New Year's Eve. So if you have no plans, feel free to join in. I would love to make that a Q&A. And also, and on a sidebar note, um, I'm also going to have I'm going to upgrade my streaming, all my programs. That's going to change, as well as I'm actually entertaining putting my content on this other platform called iStar. Um, because at one time, you can find my videos on Facebook. I was on Twitter. Each one teach one. It was never about profit margins. It was never about clout. It's about growth, having that conversation, learning and receiving tools that we all should have been afforded in our development, in our youth. So if you are under the age of 25, family, heed the word of a brother that's just ahead of you, have already had those stumbling blocks and have already tripped, slipped, and bust my lip in life and have learned. That's how you learn. You learn from others. You gain insight and let that be another thing to put in your emotional toolbox. Now, to get back to what I was saying, because I know a lot of y'all right now have seen that lot of distraction in the media on all forms. May it be on the radio, may it be on television, may it be in social media. There's a lot of distractions. And it seems like the things that should be discussed are not. And then in the process of all these distractions, the things that should be priority in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, they get overlooked. Why? But that's all strategy too. Because those same things that are not being promoted, those same things that are not being discussed, those same things that are not being empowered are also being disenfranchised because those are the tools that they're using so that you don't. It is about control, but your greatest control is found within yourself. And we wonder why there's so much discord in the world. And we wonder why there's so many people walking around uh, that have yet to be diagnosed with trauma, mental health issues. Even though, yes, 6 years ago I spoke about it. And it's not about me, it's about our society as a community. Because you can't have a community without yourself included, you know? But of course, things get polarized and politicalized and radicalized, but yet there's no I to take accountability. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that picture? So now, 2020 is going to be right around the corner. And the amazing thing about that is just yesterday, it was January. It was January 10th. You were holding dear to your focus points, the things you wanted to commit to, the things that put the drive in your motivation, the things that you were willing and wanted to tackle. Question I want to ask to you is this: how's your progression on that? Out of those 5 things, remember I said make a list of at least 10, but pick 5 of those 10 and make that your objective for the year. How's your list? Because every day, every second, you can't get it back. So, excuse me, it is imperative and important to make a decision that you want to live your best life. But you can't live your best life until you decide to ground your feet. Because there's no such thing as hitting a reset button in your life. There's no such thing as a cheat code or a life hack to work that has to be done. You don't believe me? Here's a good analogy. Think about that last disappointment that pretty much took the air out of your lungs. But instead of looking at it for what it is, you put it to the side, hoping that time will change things. It's still right there. It's still right there. That may be the proverbial puzzle piece that is going to give you a brighter viewpoint on where you headed. But none of that matters until you do one thing. What am I about to tell you? Love yourself. That's why, first of all, one of the things about having the desired life, we can agree, requires work. And you can't work on anything without focus. But you can't have focus until at first in your mind you've committed to it. Because the work is the action, it's the consistency of it. The payoff is the validation of committing to yourself. But you won't hear people talk about it. Why? Because they hope you don't. Do you realize how many people profit off of you not doing anything? Peace and blessings. What's up, SD? You realize how many people will not have the fortitude and the integrity to tell you, you know what, I prefer you to stay still because as long as you stay still, you ain't moving. And as long as you ain't moving, the truth of the matter, you are a threat to me. Why do you think the proverbial phrase of haters is so relevant today. You know why we have proverbial haters? Because they see something good in you that they wish that they could do themselves, but won't commit to it. Won't commit to it. There's something that has them stuck, something that has them numb, frozen within. But when you want to have that conversation just to make them feel a little easier, they deflect. But it's written all over their face. So you got to make a decision. Do you want to be in the cheap seats and be part of the audience of somebody that chooses not to live their life? Or do you choose to respect it and live yours? Come on, family, think about it. You know why the one percenters, you never hear them complaining? Because they, number one, focusing on themselves. And how many times have you heard your loved ones, your parents say, if you focus on 50% of the things that I asked you to do, I would be happy with 100% of the effort that you would give instead of you worrying about what your friends are doing. How many of y'all remember that? We know that as family jewels. But you'll also see the paradigm of this. You'll also see those people that seem like they're stuck in time and their friends ain't doing nothing and they ain't doing nothing because they're feeding off the same like-minded mindset. Well, I'm good. You good? I'm good. But what ain't good is the time that keeps passing them by like a Far Side song. Even though that song is a classic, your life is priceless. Why won't you invest in it? I'll give you another one. I shared with you guys the beginning of the year. I said, some of y'all know, some of you don't, is I'm a Jeep guy. You know, when you see them Jeep Wranglers rolling around, yeah, that's me. And for 3 years, I bought my Jeep from the dealership. I bought it stock. And I used to get ridiculed, like, why don't you have it this way? And why don't you have it that way? And why are you riding around with 16-inch tires and stuff? Why? That looks funny. Because in the Jeep community, if you got, if you have small tires, you're like the black sheep of the group. Well, I've always been the type of person that only thing that I gravitate to is God and my direction. But I believed in myself that in the intended time, all things that will be afforded and that is meant to come to pass by his will shall. And that time came because my Jeep sits on 37s with a 4-inch lift. I have a very nice vehicle. And I say this with the utmost humility. I know it's a nice vehicle because I see the scowls and the disdain in the eyes of people that I pass by because it's envy. Because unfortunately, there are some people, certain demographics, that have a skewed mentality that thinks that, well, because you're a minority, you shouldn't. Why do you have that? Because I work hard. I stay committed. I pay my bills. And because I don't have it today doesn't mean I'm not going to have it at all. And when the time comes right, family, I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there. I'll let y'all see it. And on the sidebar, on that, when I'm driving to work, see on one of the things that, it's like looking at a unicorn because when I'm driving, it never fails. Y'all remember the movie E.T.? Remember the 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 extra, ET was extraterrestrial, and one of his characteristics was he had a big old head with big eyes, and he had that long neck, right? Looked like a teleprompter. When you think about it, he looked like a teleprompter. Back in the day, when you remember when you was in school and the teacher broke out the teleprompter and had the clear piece of paper that had your assignment on it, and they projected it on the board and had the little ink pen. Yeah, I know you remember that. That's what ET looked like. I'm pretty sure that's probably where they came up with the concept. But the point I'm trying to make is it never fails, and I've been dealing with this ever since I took possession of that vehicle from day one. And I go past them, and their neck will do this. It's like if they could stretch their neck and turn it in a range of motion without wrecking, they would. Never fails. Eyes get big, neck stretches out, scowl on the face. And I'm like, you know what? All you did was just give me validation that I'm doing correctly with my life. That's just like when we see people with different types of assets. Some people will see whatever it is, and that'll inspire them. Like, wow, never seen this in person. Wow. But then they'll take that and say, well, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. And that'll inspire them. Then on the flip side, you'll have someone that will want to try to dissect your life. They don't even know you from a can of paint, but they will make assumptions. Oh, he must have sold drugs or, all these derogatory things just to justify their insecurity. Yes. But the best analogy that I've heard when it comes to the term haters is love being misdirected. Because the one thing about the human dynamic, there's only two frequencies the body gives off. Yes, the body we give off a natural frequency because of the electric current that's in our body, because of all the minerals that we consume. We give off a tone. One is fear. It is like a low tone. No, this is medically proven. And then the other is love. Your adrenaline, your insulin. I I want to say it's your brain waves that it disseminates. I'm pretty sure it's from your brain, but it is readable. That is why when you'll notice that when you're happy, there's no room for fear. You have endless possibilities. To say in the opposite, when you are upset or you may have an emotional trigger, everything comes into play and everything is being micromanage per se. You know, and you see that in you'll see that in your dynamic from who you are to your reality around you, from the people that you are connected to by blood and bone, family members that are close, and those who are not, as well as your work environment. You're going to have that dynamic example there too. But the one beautiful thing, if you peel that onion back, is it's your life. And it's your responsibility to live your life the best. I mean, I don't, and for some odd reasons, we still, not all, but some of us do not see the value of our existence until we don't. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, what was in the news the other day? Uh, Young rapper Juice World. He had just turned 21 years old. Just came back from doing a show. Literally stepped off the plane, had a seizure. Never made it out of the airport. Had a seizure, collapsed, didn't recover. Yeah, I mean, I know when you're in your 20s, you think you're bulletproof. We're all there. But as you're afforded time, that's the thing, time. It's very important that you master it. That's why there are people out there talk about time management. That's why there's been countless books from as far back as you can think that talk about time and the importance of time. But you got some people that may not understand that because they think, well, the sun comes up, it's going to come down. That's true. But did you take advantage of that? 60 minutes makes an hour, 24 hours in a day. Did you maximize that time? Because time waits for no one. But anyway, let me stop ramping about that. So, nonetheless, we are at this year has been nothing but distractions if you allow it to. And that's why I could also say that's why you got so many people that are dysfunctional. You actually see it now, even more so when it comes to your safety. For those that got to drive, how you like the how everything's spun up a little bit. Everybody ain't got time no more. Everybody's like they're driving for a tryout for NASCAR. Wasn't like that 2 years ago. Yeah, you would have every now and then a bat out of hell every now and then. But now it's like ready, set, got to get there, you know? But it's also important that you slow down. Take that time to map out where you want to be this week. Look, the beginning of your week. You're in the beginning of your week. And no matter what your days off may be, if you're employed, take one of those days and add it to one of those things you wish to accomplish and make that your goal. And if you're able to do that, guess what? You just made a milestone. You've just made progress. And you've just did one more thing that is required for your legacy. Now, like I said, I'm not going to talk about, I got some things I want to share at the end of the year about 2020. I know y'all been dropping me lines asking, are you going to do a 2020 video. Yeah, I am. I ain't gonna change that. But I will say this though, I look forward to this year coming. There's gonna be a lot of change for me. I'm actually this is gonna change again. Y'all look at my look at my thumbnails and you can tell the backgrounds have changed because I've moved in the last 6 years. I've moved twice, and next year I'm buying a house. Don't know where yet, but I can tell you we'll have an office in it. I will have some property because I like being out there in the yard, and all that is affording me opportunity to share with you, and I can't wait. That's what I'm excited about. And also on a different note, I'm looking at software that will also, and I know I'm probably like the last one on to probably know about it, but there's plenty of streaming software out there that allows you to sync uh, your mobile content with your desktop content, and that's what I need because that was the one regret that I didn't I didn't take advantage of trying. Well, I didn't know which way to pursue it. But that was one thing I wanted to do this year. I wanted to be able to take you where I'm going. I want to show you. There's a lot of stuff I want to show you. Um, Next year for sure. After I've checked off everything, thank you. Um, the one thing that I look forward to doing, well, the two milestones, not to ramble, is buy my new house. The second thing is I gotta make my retreat to the mountains. You guys who've been with me for a long time, y'all know I just about every year I make a I go to the Smoky Mountains. I've gotta go. If you've never afforded yourself opportunity, but have the opportunity to do so, take a drive up to your local forest. Now I know some of y'all gonna see these videos like, well, I live in the city, bruh. Ain't no mountains where I'm at. Got some fire hydrants everywhere you look. Got potholes. I can literally count the trees on the boulevard. I got you. I understand that. I understand that. But if you ever afforded the opportunity, you got no plans, fill up your gas tank, take a trek, take a drive out there to the local areas outside your environment. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's good for the mind, the body, but it also gives you a perspective of how big this planet is. And eventually, family, if not in 2020, eventually I'm going to start because the one thing that I miss is the one thing in my 20s and my 30s is travel a lot. I used to travel a lot internationally. You know, that was my thing. I got downtime. Okay, well, getting on a plane. I'm going somewhere. Might see me walking the streets of Germany or in Japan or I've even been to Romania. You got to live your life. The things that you see that come out them beautiful eyes, that is processed through that beautiful mind, that is your visual. That is your visual. So I can't talk. Your visuals, it won't come out. The visibility of what makes your memories key. The visualization. There you go. But these soup coolers was in the way. It was right there. It won't come out. Is oh so important. It is. But what is even more important is you start your day, stay grounded, Speak your truth. Thumbs up. But I'm also, like I said, I'm looking forward to the future because, a lot of things are happening and changing here on YouTube. I've been with YouTube 7 years, and they're making new mandates and they have new changes. But isn't that what growth is about? Change, evolution of self, by seeing your worth and placing them first. So for me, you have a blessed week. Sidestep the negative and keep reaching for your dreams because you're worth it. Peace.